Hey, and welcome into Vinny Rottino Baseball Academy. This is the channel where we're talking baseball. We're breaking down swings. We're having you guys send in swings. We're also highlighting some prospects that we take a look at in southeastern Wisconsin, also around the country. But today we're going to be taking a look at a player that I actually work with in the winter. His name is Gus Etes. He's a freshman at Case High School. And the thing that I'm going to highlight today with Gus is the fact that how much better he has gotten in 1 year's time is one of the most remarkable transformations of a player that I've seen. I've been working with players for about 20 years up at the hitting center in Racine, the Racine Baseball Co-op hitting center. But it's actually absolutely remarkable the advances that he's made with his swing, with his move to the ball. But we're going to take a look at that. But before we do that, I did want to highlight and talk about that this channel is brought to you by Maggie Rottino Real Estate. My wife does a phenomenal job with all of her clients. If you are in the market to buy or sell a home, please reach out to my wife and her little brother. Ricky Kuiper actually joined her team. The Rottino Kuiper Real Estate Group is the name of their team. And please reach out to them on social media if you are in the market to buy or sell a home. Again, they do a phenomenal job with their clients. It's also brought to you by Locked On Brewers Podcast. Dom Catronio and I are breaking down the Brewers 3 days a week. We're doing it 5 days a week during the season, but right now 3 days a week during the lockout until the season starts and the lockout ends. We'll be going to 5 days a week. But just talking about everything related to the Brewers, we're having guests on. We most recently had Brent Suter on, so make sure you take a look at that interview because it is absolutely side-splitting, hilarious. Especially towards the end when he is doing some Jim Carrey impersonations and he explains where the Raptor came from. But anyway, check out Locked On Brewers Podcast for all your news for Brewers. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick. I'm going to share the screen and take a look at Gus Etes. Again, one of the most remarkable changes that I've seen. So the up top is a year ago. And yes, he's gotten bigger and stronger, but it is remarkable the changes that he's made to his swing. So the thing that I tell kids before we take a look at the changes, the thing that I tell kids is my camp is for me to teach these players how to improve. It's to teach them how to work. It's to teach them how to focus. My coach growing up, Jack Schiestel, was an absolute master at teaching this, at motivating kids, because at the end of the day, what we want is kids to be able to teach themselves, right? So it's those moments, those light bulb moments that you only get in baseball and in any area of life is what I tell these kids. You get these light bulb moments when you are grinding, when you are working your tail off in order to improve your swing. So I tell kids, and I don't make it about me, but I tell kids, look, I used to go home from practice and I would practice. I would take, I had a tee set up in the basement with wiffle balls and a blanket, and I would just whack away at those wiffle balls until I would feel comfortable with the change that I was making. And those changes take a long time. So the idea is incremental changes every single day in order for that small change to take hold and become muscle memory. And so now you're not thinking about that particular change. It becomes part of your swing. So then you can work on the next thing. So it's a constant evolution of your swing. So if you think about it, and again, this is kind of the message that I tell the kids, is that a small incremental change every single day becomes a huge improvement if you do that every day. And then you're able to kind of go on to the next thing that you're working on. So this is what I tell the kids, and Gus has taken this idea and ran with it. And so without further ado, let's take a look at both of his swings from last year and this year. So the top swing, look at that, it's slow. Let's take a look at that again on top. It's slow, it's a drift. It's a pretty much hands only, arms only type of a move. Again, take a look. Okay. And then now take a look at that swing on the bottom. Again, this is a 1 year change. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at that swing on the bottom. Okay. So there is a balanced swing right there. There is a stretch. There is a proper load. There's a really good hitting position in there as well. So again, all these things that Gus and I've kind of helped Gus understand what he has to do, but he took it upon himself to really make the changes. This kid gets up there to the hitting center hours before. So there's multiple sessions that I run on Friday nights. He gets up there during the first session and goes in the back and hits off the tee for a couple of hours before our session even starts. So this is the kind of player he is, this is the kind of kid he is, this is the kind of player he wants to become. And there's obviously some areas of improvement, as there is for everybody, but he has made a ton of really big strides. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the things that we've highlighted for him to do. So first thing is that drift. See on top, that drift where he is landed, and he's always had trouble, or he had trouble last year with kind of landing, and that heel never really planted itself on the ground, that front heel. And so he would land, ball of his foot, and kind of drift those hips. So that's what I'm highlighting here. So his hips drift. And then on the bottom, we're going to go ahead and take a look. Look at that solid base. Boom, right there. He is 50-50. That is a perfect hitting position right there. Heel firmly planted on the ground. And the other thing he does really well is I kind of showed him what we want from that stretch, right? So as the hips start to open up, the hands stay back, that scap stays loaded back. And that what happens is that elbow automatically begins to slot when that happens. He's done a phenomenal job of that. So you get some torque created. And so you don't have to be you don't have to muscle the barrel and the bat through, because the lower half's going to lead and the hands and everything's going to follow. So that's kind of what the latest change that he's made. And he's really taken to that change. So here, as you can see, the elbow gets way too far out in front, becomes kind of a sloppy elbow, and then the barrel becomes sloppy. So now he is slotting that elbow in a really good spot, and he's going to be able to kind of finish the swing through. And look at how he's staying behind the ball now. He's not drifting forward. And again, he's making contact out in front. The latest thing we're working on is his timing. And so now he's made these physical changes. And so now the mental change of the timing of how it all needs to work out in front is kind of the thing that he's working on now. So what I tell him to work on that is, I do not care what the results are. We're working on timing. If you swing and miss at a bad pitch right now, I don't care. We're going to teach your brain when it has to fire, when it has to start with that stride in order to connect with the ball out in front. And that's kind of how we've been able to have his brain kind of figure that out, is again, not worried so much about results right now, as we are about a month away from the season starting. And we're going to try and get him to establish a really good pattern of catching that ball out in front. So that is what he's been able to do lately. So as you can see how late he is here, and he just hitting the ball right off the hands up top. Again, that is probably because of the drift. And then he pushes up with that backside instead of what we talk about, push down into the ground, that all that force from that back leg, back heel, back foot going down and forward into the ground, and then hitting against that firm front side. Here up top, he is pushing up and then coming his weight way too much onto that front side. He's not staying behind that front side last year. So he's made quite the remarkable change. And like I said, great job, Gus. It's been a pleasure working with this kid. I mean, again, he could barely even hit the ball last year. It was a lot of swing and miss just in batting practice. And now he is absolutely roping the ball in the cage. Again, it is a testament to how hard he's worked, and just how much that he really wants it. You can tell he's going to be he's only a freshman. He's going to be a very, very good player by the time he's a senior at Case High School. So looking forward to that. But that's it. Thanks for tuning in. And I just hope that kind of that episode kind of illustrated the messaging that you want to have to kids, is that take it upon themselves to really take their careers, their baseball careers, and their baseball journey. It's in their hands, right? And that's kind of what I try to message to them. So that's obviously rung true with Gus here, because he's done that and then some. So have a good night. Thank you.